Pongo, Hands Through the Forest. Written and narrated by Feenstra. Chapter 1. A Home Like No Other. It was a day like any other day in Pongo's rainforest home, laying in his nest high up in the trees. The young ape curled his waxy brown toes while chewing on some fresh bark his mother had brought him that morning. Unable to sit still, the mischievous youngster writhed around the woody bed, sipping water from a nearby leaf while watching as his mother quietly gathered seeds and fungus nearby, ready for their next meal. The young ape lived an idyllic life alongside his mother Ranji, far up amongst the treetops on an island called Borneo, where the pair travelled through the woodlands searching for food, water and nests for the night. Ranji would spend her time teaching her offspring the ways of the forest, how to find food, which fruits you could eat and which you couldn't, and where to find water. However, she had learned that lessons needed to be quick and interesting, as the lively youngster's attention span could be very short. The jungle was a magical place. The trees soared up, almost touching the sky, and joined together to form arches of green, with streams of bright sunlight peeping in between. As far as your eyes could see, moss-entwined vines fell from the roof of the forest to the floor down below, alive with activity as birds darted through the spaces in between. Pongo would lie in his nest, observing the wildlife around him, the butterflies and bees as they buzzed past him, sometimes landing on his nose to say a quick hello, whilst listening to the sound of nearby hooves crunching over sticks as larger animals moved through the forest floor below, searching for food. Ranji always told her son that he was very special, but Pongo thought the rainforest was special. It was always so alive, but at the same time such a peaceful place. It was a simple life, but a beautiful one that the young ape cherished. Leaning out of his nest, Pongo stretched his long orange-coloured limb to break off fresh bark. "Mum," he called out, looking down a few branches towards his mother. "You say I am special, but you don't say why," he asked, twirling the bark through his long toes. Ranji stopped what she was doing and looked up at her son. "My darling boy, you are so special. For a start, you are my son," Ranji tailed off as she continued to pick at the fungus. "But more than that, you are from a line of orangutans that are very special." Instantly forgetting the piece of bark, Pongo climbed down a nearby vine to sit alongside his mother. "But aren't all orangutans special, Mum?" Pongo asked, picking the fungus his mother had just collected and eating it. "Pongo," Ranji continued, motioning for him to leave the food alone. "Of course our species is special, but you are Pongo pygmaeus. Your line is very special and very rare, my darling son. We must look after you." Ranji paused, retrieving some fungus the youngster was trying to hide. "That is why I must gather food each day to feed you and make you grow and be strong, and why I must teach you the ways of the forest," Ranji finished, not sure if her message was being received. Having already lost interest, the mischievous young ape was now hanging upside down by his feet, alongside his mother, pulling faces as he twirled back and forth. "But Pongo," his mother continued, looking into his upside-down eyes, "more than anything, you are very special to me," she finished off, handing him back the portion of fungus and tickling his tummy. Shrieking with laughter, Pongo quickly returned to his nest to while away the rest of the day. Climbing the vine with both fingers and toes, the youngster still didn't understand why he was special, or what his mother meant. All that mattered to this playful young ape was that he was special to her. Ranji looked on, shaking her head and smiling, as her energetic son rapidly ascended the vine, and without fail completed a final triple somersault to land safely in his nest. He was naughty, she thought to herself, but she loved him. The next morning, Ranji told her son they were going down to the water's edge to gather fresh fruits that were growing nearby. Pongo could hardly contain his excitement. He loved travelling to the waters down below. This was a time when other orangutans would meet up, and if he was lucky he could share some time with his friends. Mostly, orangutans lived alone, crisscrossing the forest daily in search of food to feed themselves and their offspring. But every so often they would gather, typically where fruit was plentiful and fresh water was on hand. The younger generation would spend the time chasing each other, tumbling and twirling, burning off copious amounts of energy, while their mothers would gather fruit and share stories, glad of the break from their lively broods. This day was no different. The climb down was slower than the young ape could manage, because his mother was fully grown and not as agile. But as soon as they were down, Pongo skipped and rolled all the way to the group of apes that were already assembled. The youngster loved the waterways and found them enchanting. The break in the tree
Sample complete. Ready to continue?